Good morning, Cincinnati, and welcome into the Cincy Light Studios, where we are kicking off our fourth season of the Bearcat Brunch, brought to you again by our wonderful partners at Royal Links Golf Tours. Have you always wanted to play golf at St. Andrews? Have you ever enjoyed a perfect pint of Guinness in Ireland? Do you dream of playing golf at famed Ballybunion? Well, with Royal Links Golf Tours, you can. They are a golf tour specialist offering unforgettable golf experiences to Scotland, England, Ireland, and Wales. Their custom itineraries are more than golf trips. They are immersive, cultural, and country experiences that will both surprise and delight you. Royal Links Golf Tours is owned by former Bearcat quarterback Hayden Moore and his partner, UC alum Jeff Bartholomew. So if you'd like to visit St. Andrews or have that perfect pint of Guinness, visit their website at royallinksgolftours.com or call them direct at 770-331-1525. And with that, we're back. I don't know if we're better than ever, but here we are.
We're not.
Myself, Dave. Myself, David Simone. My partner, Jeff Howell. How we doing, Jeff?
It's
season
more
4. Can you feel the excitement of season 4 of the Bearcat Brunch?
I'm trying. I tweeted out the other day, like, seems like, new players, like same kind of results.
Yeah, a lot of it did feel the same, and I think that's, for our new listeners that might be joining us for the first time, this is Bearcat. Aaron and Chad give you the immediate post-game thoughts, and then we come in on Sunday mornings, 9:00, to kind of go a little bit deeper once some stats and analytics and just time have happened. And I always give you the first word. So, kind of where do you want to start with this?
Well, I mean, right back to what I just said. Like, it feels like a new year, new players, same results. I mean, all the way down to how many times last year did we sit here and discuss the end of a half where it looked like, okay, this isn't so bad. We're down by 3 or we're up by 3 and we're going into the half and things are going to be fine. And something would happen. We'd turn the ball over. We'd get stopped. The other team would use their timeouts well and then drive down the field. And, we'd give up a field goal or a touchdown. And or it ended up in a situation where now we're down 10. It's tied. Like, the momentum would swing wildly the other direction. And then it was like, once again, fighting an uphill battle in a game where you thought that, like, okay, like maybe things are starting to kind of stabilize a little bit. We'll be all right. We'll go into the half. We'll come back out and things will be okay. And again, we end up in a situation where we got the ball. We miss a fumble recovery that somehow bounces to a guy that has one arm pinned behind his back, and he's able to recover it on his own while being tackled. And then we turn around and I wouldn't say it was like it wasn't an egregious turnover. I mean, the kid made a play and blew up Goody and he dropped the ball. But then you've turned around and given them the ball on like the 24, the 19, something in that range. And then they do what you're supposed to do with the ball from that point, score, and not looking good.
No, it's there, and I think that is where the game itself, like, I did not expect them to go in and win the game. Obviously, things play out in the game that change your mindset or what have you. But, like, that to me, the things you like, that what you're mentioning, and we heard all off season about how connected this team is and how discipline was the discipline is the big word that was used so many times. We can't shoot ourselves in the foot. We have to be more disciplined. We can't give teams extra opportunities. You talk about that fumble, 4 false start penalties. I know the crowd was loud and everything, but, like, you're the road team. What do you expect?
No, we weren't. We were the home team, Dave.
Oh yes, I forgot how many times they mentioned that on the broadcast. Did you know that this was a home game for UC? But my point, with notwithstanding, like all off season, Scott Satterfield talked about being more disciplined, and then in crucial moments, they were not disciplined. You can't have 4 false start penalties. You can't have, I didn't really understand the sequencing of that entire drive. You have 2 minutes. It's a 2-minute drive. I'm not saying take reckless shots down the field, but you're setting up slow developing screens and running shallow crossers that are you just trying to break something, I guess? I don't know. Like it was a very odd sequence. And then Caleb Goody gets hit. And again, it was a great play by the defender. It's one of those plays as soon as you're turning up, you're not sure where the guy is going to be coming from. You've just kind of caught the ball. You're in the process of getting things situated, and you get drilled and you fumble, and that happens. And hats off to Nebraska. But again, like you said, a continuation of last year. Receivers that clearly couldn't get open. We talked about Nebraska's secondary being probably the high point of their entire roster, and they came to play. And UC's receivers either struggled to get open, passes were. Some plays I think guys were open, passes weren't on point. The whole passing game, let's be honest, was not good. But yeah, it's just a lot of the same. And you hold a team in that environment with a whole bunch of dudes that coming back or transferring in that are higher level players to 20 points. And I'm not saying that should be a walkover victory, but I don't know. 17 points. And we'll get into to how we got there, but it's too much of the same. And it leaves the fan base going, right or wrong, like I already saw this story. Like I certainly don't need to see this story against Bowling Green and Northwestern State or whatever the team, the Delta Devils, I believe is the mascot. Like, call me when we play Kansas. Yeah. Call me when we play Kansas and then Iowa State. Like,
well, but really, there's still a fear that a toe's going to get caught in the brick pathway here on the next 2 weeks, and we stumble and fall in there as well. I've seen that story play out.
Yeah, these teams, like Bowling Green, returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, and then really struggled to do anything against the Lafayette Leopards, who I do not believe are one of the more formidable teams in the FCS. So, I don't want to chalk anything up as guaranteed, but you know what I mean. Like,
right, yeah.
But I'm not trying to be. I'm just analyzing. We're just analyzing one game, and it looked a whole lot like the last 5 last year.
Well, that's why it ended up with another loss.
A lot of close. A lot of head scratchy moments, and we'll certainly get into that. We can start right off with the offense, and I don't even want to. The passing game was what the passing game was. The perfect comparison of that was we talked transfer wide receivers. We had a bunch. And they had 2 that were going to play a ton. Cyrus Allen, Caleb Goody, Jeff Caldwell, 7 catches for 51 yards. Dane Key and Isaiah Hunter, 11 for 106 and 2 touchdowns. Goody and Caldwell each had 4 targets, had 1 catch for 5. Each had 1 catch for 5 yards.
Some of the passes weren't the best, but neither were.
Caldwell was open on a dig, and Sorsby threw it high and outside. He got one hand up on it. Like he's 6'5", man. Hit him right in the gut. He's a huge target. You should not be missing him that bad.
But my other point was that Raiola's passes weren't always exactly right? Where
No,
they had, you know what I mean? And those guys were making plays. And I know they said it on the broadcast, like these two receiving cores, whatever, like one was making plays and the other set wasn't. I mean, I don't even remember who it was that was in the end zone. Like the ball's coming in, like you got to make more of an effort.
and they, my thing with the passing game too, and when you compare it to what Raiola was, it was they just gave him so many more easy throws. Just three,
There was way
three
too many
step,
times where
three step
the
drop, get it out. Like 1, 2, 3, out. 5-step drop, get it out. We don't see Sorsby move at all. Like he's such a running threat. Why do we not see any sort of outside the pocket, put the defense in a bind? Is a linebacker going to come off of a tight end because Sorsby could run? Are they going to stay back and then he runs? Like, what? I just don't know. I mean, the screen game was as confounding as anything I've watched. I think they attempted 5 of them. Almost all of them were either like a slow developing one where I know Tyree Walker had one for -4 yards on I think the play or the drive. It was the drive. It might have been the play before the Goody fumble. Like, and then we're doing all these like fake it one direction throw back to Royer type screen pass. Like Cyrus Allen was clearly the only receiver that could get open and is the fastest receiver that we have, and showed it on the reverse, but there was nothing to him in the quick game. I have 2 stats that jump out the most to me. We'll start with this one since we're kind of on the passing game right now. Royer had 5 targets for 3 catches and 11 yards. He had 14 yards after completion. He had more yards in YAC than he had in total yards.
And he's a guy that, they tout around as this like somebody that they want to like involve and use in like 11 yards.
Nebraska just apparently took away the entire middle of the field. Could not throw him the ball down the seam. Could not throw him the ball between the hashes and the numbers.
Like, we couldn't throw the ball to anybody, Dave. We had 69 total passing yards.
Greatest pass defense ever.
How many times did we say that last year? Like, it's the same stuff.
Right. And then
at some point you have to change up the scheme. Like, whatever it is you're doing isn't working. And it hasn't worked for going back now 6 games.
And here's the part that drives me crazy. Whatever that wasn't working. And yet, you ran the ball for 0.52 EPA per rush, which is expected points added. 0.52 is 98th percentile. It's damn near the best you can do. So basically, every time they ran the ball, they expected points added were half a point. That is better than any game last year. And really, none of them were that close to what that was. Sorsby did not get sacked. He really didn't get pressured at all. I mean, Nebraska had no sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 1 QB hit. They had 5 pass breakups, and an interception, which, again, kind of highlights the disparity in why we were really throwing it at all. So Sorsby, Walker, and Pryor, 25 carries, 178 yards, 7.1 yards a carry. 21 runs. These are considered opportunity runs. 21 runs went for 4 yards or more. And Tyree Walker got 7 carries.
They averaged 7 yards a rush.
I don't
29 total rushing attempts.
Wednesday night, I led off my analysis of this game of run the ball until they show you they can stop you.
And they couldn't, and we didn't.
I'd like to try to be more nuanced, but it's kind of all right there. I don't understand the 2. I mean, it's 2 carries, it's whatever, but like the 1 carry each for Manny Covey and Chance Williams, like, just why? Satterfield said it was our plan to get all 4 running backs involved. Okay, well, when your other running backs are running good, change your plan.
Right. And we've said that in the past. Like if you go in to a game and your plan is A, and for whatever reason you find that plan B is working better, that doesn't mean okay, well, I decided that plan A is what I was going to do, and so I'm just going to keep shoving that down everyone's throat until it works or it doesn't, and then I'm just going to say that's what we went in, that's what we were going to try to do, and they stopped it. I know that this other thing we had some success with, but that wasn't the plan going in, so like we don't want to break away from the plan.
It's I mean,
it's some head scratching comments, similar to the comment about like, oh, if that ball falls incomplete, we're going down for a score. Excuse me? What does that even mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you look at you have the non-scoring drives. 5 plays 11 yards, 3 plays 6 yards, 3 plays -4 yards, 4 plays 15 yards, 3 plays 5 yards, and then the last drive 10 plays 58 yards that ended in the interception. They gained 52% of their available yards, which is pretty bad. But it's hard. It's just I'm already we're 1 game in and I'm already exacerbated by like the offensive line was good outside of the penalties. Like they didn't really let anybody near Sorsby. They blocked for 7 yards of freaking run, regardless of who was carrying the ball. I don't think they had any holding penalties, although I could be forgetting one. I don't know.
There actually weren't many. I think we had 4 penalties for 20 yards, and I think those were all false starts.
Okay, so third down was a huge differentiator as well. UC was 3 for 10. Nebraska was 10 for 18.
Time of possession.
But I'm like, if we're gonna sit here and just have to talk about like why we're not running the ball more when it's clear, in 1 game, again, small sample size, and that's like, Wednesday night when I was saying like it's 1 data point, you have to react to the 1 data point. I'm not gonna go crazy one way or the other. Like if the receivers couldn't get open, is it concerning? Sure. Did I also think that Nebraska maybe has the best secondary that they'll play all year? Also true. Now this was kind of like there's a difference between like not being able to get open for like 170 yards versus not being able to get open for 69. So the concern is at a higher level. But the issue is not that they lost the game. The issue is not that they, had struggles in various elements of it. It's that so much of it looked exactly the same as last year.
And that's why, like, like you just said, like we're 1 game in and you're already exasperated. It's because we've read this book and we didn't like it and we threw it away, and here it is again.
Yeah, I'm exacerbated because you scored 2 touchdowns and a field goal and had a 58-yard drive because you ran the ball. And then we just decided that no, we're not gonna. I mean, is there like throw metrics in Brendan Sorsby's NIL contract? Like we have to have him throw the ball 25 times a game.
Oh,
like, and I'm not knocking him for this. Like the numbers play it out. Like I don't know what else to say. Like Nebraska's run defense. Their defensive run stuff rate was 7%. That's a 0 percentile. Like
that's not good.
These are all numbers coming from GameOnPaper.com, which is a great site if you want to get into like the more nuanced elements of it. Their havoc rate 2%, 2nd percentile. Someone asked me on Twitter. They were like, I don't know what these numbers mean. Can you explain? I go, it means we never should have stopped running the ball. That's what they mean.
Yeah. I mean, the EPA per play was in the 66th percentile, which. That's decent. Not extremely good, but it's enough to get it shaded green.
Our EPA and our offensive EPA per play and our success rate was better than theirs.
Yeah.
So was yards per play.
The success rate was in the 95th percentile, Dave.
We gave up 4.61 yards per play, which it's not. You can't possibly do this. I'm not saying it's a 1-to-1 here because it's been 1 game versus a whole season.
Yep.
4.61 yards per play last year made you the 6th best defense in the country based on yards per play allowed. And I have some quibbles and some critiques with the defense, but like you gave up 4.61 yards per play, and you weren't great on third down. You could have gotten some turnovers that you didn't, but like you gave up 20 points and barely 4.5 yards per play, and you can't win.
No, I think Aaron actually said it on the night of, like, I thought the defense, and I agreed with him. He said the defense played well. They didn't play exceptional or like great even, but like they played well enough. They played probably what
they played more than well enough to win.
Oh no, they played well enough to win.
Special teams and defense held their end of the deal up.
I would agree with that. I would just say that like and to the point that Aaron was making was that there were 2 points that would have made it an exceptional day, and that's recovering the fumble you caused and not just falling on the ball and getting that one back, and then the pick six that was there that got dropped. And I know that those are like, oh, well, extra little things inside, but that's what would have made it an exceptional day.
Well, and I'll even go beyond that. For all that we're talking about the offense and the passing game, it was 13-10. They got the ball back. Get a stop. Their offense was not impressive. I mean, they made some plays here and there, enough plays to win the game, but it wasn't. They didn't go up and down the field on UC, hence the numbers that we're talking about. Like, you got to get a stop. You got to be better on third down.
Yeah, we've said that before.
When you play zone coverage, you are going to play off coverage, but I also felt like, especially Logan Wilson, it felt like at times he was very off for the down and distance that was in front of them, where they just gave free releases on 5, 6, 7 yard curls or slants, and it's like, or we're bailing. We're kind of off, but then we're bailing. But those are things that are in the grand scheme.
It's situation, like some situational things.
So situational, so correctable. Like I thought the tackling overall was good. I thought they high tackled a little bit and gave up some extra yards, but it wasn't like guys were just missing tackles or guys were breaking free of tackles. Receivers weren't just running down I mean, dude is a taller receiver and caught it on McDoon's head and bobbled it and then re-caught it and got his toe inbound. Like,
no, that was
kind of gonna just be like, sometimes the other guy just makes a damn play, and and so Harrison just goes outside and he cut inside on the fourth down play, which I don't think you should. I mean, I think you're covering the inside more than you should be on than the outside on a situation like that.
But again, that goes back to like that's just situational things,
right,
and that can be corrected on film.
Like, no, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying like that. Those are things that I've just from like the overall, and okay, it's one game of this season, but those things are you see that the ability is there, and hopefully like there's some back end coaching on film that can correct those situational things. Like, listen, like when we're in this down and distance, like, yeah, we're gonna play off a little bit, but you need to not play as off as we do in this situation. Like those kinds of things, and that's what you hope is gonna happen here. Obviously, and like you're saying, like the next 2 games, we're probably not gonna be stressed the same way,
right?
So you're not gonna, maybe you see a little bit of it, but we're really not gonna know for a month essentially where this is gonna turn around to.
Yeah, I mean, defense had 3 sacks. That's on pace. 12 games, 36. That'd be 15 more than last year. Thought they got some decent pressure. Could have gotten some more pressure. I mean, you can always get more pressure, but that's part of the 3-man front. And they did seem to mix it up with bringing different guys at times. And, Jake Golday, 12 tackles, a sack, tackle for loss. Trey Collard, 10 tackles, tackle for loss. Jonathan Thompson, a sack and a tackle for loss. Brian Sims had a sack and a tackle for loss. Like, I thought they played pretty well. I mean, Nebraska's running back went for over 100 yards. But if you dig into the numbers deeper, like, I talked about UC had 21 of those opportunity runs, 4 yards or more. Nebraska had 14. The big difference, and sacks are going to get counted in here, so I'll take out 3. But 16 of Nebraska's runs went for 2 yards or less, where UC only had 7. They went for 2 yards or less. So, it's their receivers outplayed ours. Their tight end had a game that I was not expecting. I mean, I did not see that coming. 5 for 47. But if we're talking defense, like the things that they didn't do well, I feel like are very much correctable things. They're not they got both. They certainly didn't get pushed off the line of scrimmage,
and they didn't get boat raced. Like it's not.
They didn't get ran by. Like it wasn't a track meet. Dudes just running deep and throwing it over their heads. Guys were coming up, making hits, playing the ball. I mean, yeah, you'd love for Logan Wilson to be able to grab that and return that for a touchdown. You'd love for the fumble to bounce your way instead of their way. But like turnover luck is a thing. Something you got to make your own luck.
I had to find some quips. I had to find something, Dave.
Yeah, we couldn't just go offense the whole time, but we're gonna go. We're gonna end up going right back to it. But yeah, let's talk about though the last drive, what ended up being the last offensive play. 1st and 10 on the Nebraska 33 with 39 seconds left and no timeouts. We end up with an interception down the near, kind of not sideline, but near sideline area, end zone, 1 yard line, whatever it was, to Caleb Goody, where Hartzog comes over from safety and makes a nice play, intercepts the ball. I'm going to start with that. I do not like playing for field goals at any level, whether it's pro or college. I mean, you and I are both Bengals fans. We saw Zach Taylor play for field goals how many times last year, and Evan McPherson miss them. College, I'm certainly not playing for field goals. Like, you're kind of fringe Jonathan or Stephen Rushnick's range right there, 50 yards. But I'm not playing for that. Like, I'm not playing conservative and trying to set up that to force overtime. So I don't hate the decision to throw that ball. Now, that pass was not very good. It needed to be deeper, which I thought Sorsby underthrew pretty much all the deep balls.
Yes.
Or deepish throws. Caleb Goody is one of your fastest receivers. Like, launch that sucker. He either catches it in the end zone or it goes out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah. Or get that ball to the sideline.
Yeah, and I felt it could have been a little further out and a little further towards the sideline, so the safety has just a little bit further to go to get it. Caleb Goody probably could have helped Sorsby out a little bit on that, but if we're gonna do the like whose percentage of blame, I mean it's 90 plus. I'm not really putting much of the blame on Caleb Goody because he didn't turn into a defender and force an incompletion. While I say I don't hate the decision, it's certainly not what I would have called. And this is all very hindsight, so it's easy for us to sit here. But you're on the 33. You're in fringe field goal range. Sorsby had been running the ball successfully, like short side of the field, run him. He can get out of bounds, potentially. Even if he can't get out of bounds, you don't have receivers on the other side of the field having to get back from 15, 20 yards downfield.
Yeah.
So say he gets 5 yards and he's tackled in bounds. It's now 2nd and 5 from the 28. You could spike it if you wanted to. You could run a play real quick, maybe a quick throw or another run. He gets the first down, the clock stops. He doesn't get the first down. It's, you're now 3rd and 1 from the 24, say he gets 4 yards. Your clock is running now a little bit more. You probably have to maybe clock it again, but okay, you're setting up a field goal now to tie the game from the 24 versus the 33. I feel much more comfortable in a 41-yard kick with this kicker. Everything I had seen from him in camp was good, and he was good on his one attempt. So again, this just kind of keeps going back to the Did I hate it? Was I throwing something? No. But like, you're not like at no point. This was my thing in this game. At no point were they forced to take that risk. Now maybe Sorsby just took the risk on his own, and it had nothing to do with anything. And
Other than that,
but like, you were never in the situation where you're like, we just got to drop back every play and chuck it because we're down 21 points and we're trying to come back. Like, you're in field goal range. You did not have to do that. Whether it was you didn't have to call that play, whether it was he didn't have to throw that ball, like, they were never in a do or die situation where that type of a play was needed to be made. I'm all for being aggressive and trying to win the game. Like, I'm not playing for a tie in overtime.
No, not at all.
Situation, but I'm not doing that on 1st and 10.
And then you also got to think, like, to that point, you completed one pass for 14 yards. I think that was I think they only that was the only pass over 10 yards. I think it was he had one completion over 10 yards. The rest of them were for 6 and 5 yards. Were the longs.
Mm-hmm.
That's not working. Like you could tell early on. Like, I actually had a friend send me a message and partway through that, like, that on those longer balls, the ones that you were talking about being underthrown, like, that something just seemed a little off. And sometimes that happens in games. Like, we know that Torsby can make. We know you can make those throws. So, like, it just seemed off. And so in that situation, that's more what I was frustrated with. I wasn't upset that they, if that's what they called, then that's what they called. Or if he decided, like, hey, I think we've got this open. I was just more of the line, like, it wasn't working all day. So let's not try to get cute here and make it work now. You're moving the ball down the field fairly well on this drive. Like, things are hurried up. You're doing what you need to do.
Yeah, they really found something with some quick sideline routes to Cyrus Allen.
So there's no need, and like, and then it comes back down to, like, what you said. If you're going to do that, if that is the throw the route you're going to run, and, like, you've got the time back there because you're not getting a bunch of pressure, like, understand that you have time for this to develop, but that pass has to be to the sideline more. Maybe deeper. I just wanted it more to the sideline. It was there if the ball is in the right spot. It wasn't, and that's how the game ended.
Yeah.
It sucked.
Yeah, and it's just, we talked about it at times last year with Kiner. Pick game will obviously jump out and stay relevant in everybody's minds, but it's we seem to just continually get into these moments and these sequences where we have something that is working and we decide to go away from it, and then we go back to it and it still works, but it inevitably is too late. Or, like, the first drive of the game, we just come out throwing. And for the life of me, I don't understand coaches. I don't understand game planning. When the best part of Nebraska's defense last year is gone, like, Ty Robinson was a game-wrecking defensive tackle for them. He had 7 sacks from defensive tackle. His 2 main backups were gone. 5 players transferred out. 1 to Florida State that had a pretty good game yesterday, I noticed. But they're all new up front. And we give our 2 running backs 12 carries. Our 2 main running backs got 12 carries. I mean, the quarterback ran the ball more times than the 2 running backs did combined. And I don't hate that. He ran the ball for Sorsby ran for almost 100 yards. So,
yeah.
And none of it's sack adjusted. And yet, we are running screens and slow developing screens and shallow
I just
crossers,
I can't get on board
and
with those. Like
and
throwing the
the
ball
and
behind
the
the line.
and the little flippies out to Royer when we're not even. Like I said, I mean, I don't know. I haven't observed the film. I don't get the all 22 view. Maybe they just totally locked him down and he was never open on anything in the general middle of the field. And if that's the case, then we have way more concerns because we were expecting him to be a super important and frequently used target in this offense. But it's hard for me to really get too critical on any other part, even though, no one's perfect. No one really ever is perfect in any sport, let alone football. Like, I thought special teams was really good. I thought the defense was more than competent, held up their end of the deal, and the offense couldn't really. They either scored or did nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
if you've joined the slate, I kind of went through the non-scoring drives, and other than the last one, none of them went for more than 15 yards. So it was either score a touchdown or literally do nothing. So, and that's the thing is like, we're not going to really find out anything over the next 2 weeks that changes anything that we saw Saturday or Thursday.
The unfortunate thing is the only thing we could find out the next 2 weeks is that we're really, really, really bad.
Yeah, that is something you can find out.
Like this was the ceiling, and that wouldn't be that would be awful.
Yeah, that is something you can find out. That's for sure. But is there anybody else that you wanted to discuss, point out? I'm trying to think if I missed anything that helps highlight anything we've been discussing. I don't know. I mean, we're getting good at talking about a lot of the same things, which is also getting boring. But
there's not a lot of other things. I mean, like I said, we got extremely, I think, nitpicky on the defense and some things, like just so that we had something there to talk about it. Pretty solid.
I mean, there's always going to be areas. There are always going to be areas to clean up.
Yeah.
But
3 sacks, 6 tackles for loss.
There weren't these like glaring errors or glaring, observations of like, oh shit, like we're still way too small in the defensive line, or like we've talked about these linebackers, but they couldn't run with their running backs or tight ends, like, stuff like that. There wasn't anything like that. And then, special teams, Max Fletcher had 45 yards per punt, 2 of them inside the 20. They, the punt coverage was good. The kickoff coverage was good. We had there were no egregious errors on kickoff return. They made the one field goal that they attempted. I mean, that's kind of all you can ask for there.
I mean, like the punt on the punts, their long return on punts was 3 yards.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I expect kind of like the kickoff, the kick returns to be a little bit like have some, you're not going to see people with, an average of 3 yards or whatever on a kickoff return. So, I mean, those weren't crazy. I mean, like they averaged 16 yards on those, but on punts, like they were down the field and covering that very well, which it goes back to the tackling seems to have gotten better.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were some, especially on the defensive side, there were some I felt like some high tackles where guys were able to get a few extra yards here and there, but no like whiffs and no just total like, where you see guys flying in at bad angles and or just, so, those are things that hopefully you can, especially over the next 2 weeks, like the defense can maybe find its footing. Hopefully you can get more guys, find its footing even more, fine tune things, get more guys involved, get more guys comfortable. But like offensively, if guys start running open and they have a better game passing the ball in these next 2 weeks, I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? What are we supposed to do with that?
Just be happy that it means that they're not.
Then I guess it's be happy that it wasn't the opposite and that they still were having trouble getting open.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's really all you can get out of it.
I know.
That's my point. It's like these next 2 weeks are more of like, please don't show me really bad things, or that they aren't, like, if they aren't better against this competition, then like it's gonna be a real long year.
Yeah, that would seem to give us that type of feeling. But Marcus is asking, if they played the game at Nipper, do you think they would win?
Or even at Lincoln?
I have no idea. I'm not big into the like if hypotheticals of that nature. Like, because I mean, if the game was played the exact same way, then yeah, sure, maybe. But like, I don't know. It's it is that whole topic is not really for this podcast. This is more of the talk about the game, talk about the stuff that happened around the country. Like, if Marcus, you've been on this site long enough, you know what my take was on that whole situation. I'll just say that UC Athletics is in quite a pickle. You sell a game because you need the money to pay the players, which then directly disadvantages the players by selling the game. But then you maybe weren't able to afford to keep some of those players that you'd like to keep if you didn't sell the game. So it's quite a conundrum that these non-blue blood programs are in. So, yeah.
You need the money. It's got to come from somewhere. It sucks that it comes at the expense of whatever, but I guess maybe you could attribute the false starts.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, it was right. But
it was 72. I think I saw 72,800 something was the
Nebraska fans.
Was the attendance, and 72,400 and something maybe, or 72,000 were Nebraska fans. Like, yes, it certainly played a part. Like, let's, the 4 false starts, I would imagine, were very much about that. Any miscommunication potentially with quarterback and wide receiver, I have no doubt that maybe played some element into it. But, I'm not going to spend much time on that. We're 1 week in. I have other thoughts that we'll find out if I ever have to say them or not. But, all in all, though, like, the game's there to win. All that shit, all that stuff that happened in the first 58 minutes or whatever didn't matter. You had the chances, so you can say the crowd, and you can say the should have had it at Indy. You should have kept. I mean, you were there. You were there. I mean, that kind of goes back to like what I said. We've bemoaned the offense for the vast majority of this podcast. You cut the score to 13-10, and they weren't really doing a whole lot. And you had a chance to get the ball back and really take momentum, and you didn't. They were able to.
They had the ball twice as long as we did.
They were able to go down and score. So,
like the time of possession stat is wild. 20 minutes to 40 minutes, essentially. Which goes back to
that's what happens when every one of your other scoring drives or non-scoring drives is basically a 3 and out, and you're throwing the ball. So incomplete. So yeah, every drive you have that you're not scoring on is basically a minute.
I don't know if there's anything else about this that you want to touch on before.
Well, no, not really. I'll just end with for being as diehard as they are, Nebraska fans and even Matt Rule don't really know the rules of football. There were multiple times that they were complaining about something, and I'm like, you guys don't know that's like when the kickoff out of bounds. when you stand out of bounds, when you have 1 foot in bounds and it's something that they're all taught.
Yeah.
If it's close to the sideline, go stand out of bounds and then touch the ball because that makes it a penalty.
Well, what's funny about that, you saying like them not knowing the game. So I had like turned, I don't know, I wasn't looking at the screen right at that point. My 12-year-old son starts jumping up and down, and he was like, "That's brilliant. What a play. Like, did you see that, Dad? He put his foot out of bounds and then he grabbed it. Like, he's going to get the ball moved up." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, I see that. Like, I saw the replay. Like, that's awesome." So for my 12-year-old to say that, and then you like, they spent like, 30 seconds showing Matt Rule on the sideline, like yelling about it.
Yeah, I don't know. But, good win. I know they had a lot of questions coming in too. So,
Yeah.
good, got the win and get to move on. And we're here talking about what
The good
comes
thing is,
next
Dave, we can still
the
win the
Bowling,
Big 12.
The Bowling Green Falcons.
Ugh.
And their super mascot, Pudge the Cat. I'm worried, man. Pudge the Cat is a viral sensation. They returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown for the second year in a row. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Oh,
we'll see.
Yeah, I guess
3:30 Saturday. Weather looks immaculate. Hope everybody enjoys the tailgate.
Yeah, we'll see.
And of course, Pudge the Cat is the cat of the long snapper. Like, could he be the cat of any other position player than the long snapper?
It's a player's cat.
Yeah, he's down. Like, he has his own locker. They like had him on the field, like doing almost like he brings him to practice in some backpack that has like air holes in it, and the cat watches practice and has his own locker. And their win graphic was the cat next to an orange W that looked like a cat scratching pad, those cardboard scratchers. So we got Bearcats versus Pudge the Cat next week.
They're Falcons, though.
I know. It's just funny.
This is wild.
Funny, fun stuff. But anyway.
John loves the cat.
Yeah, it's great. I agree with John. I, too, also love the cat. But that'll wrap up the Nebraska element of the Bearcat Brunch. Again, for anybody new to the show, we will now, after we talk about the UC game, we take a little quick trip around college football as a whole. Is there a game that you would like to start with?
I think we'll just start right off the rip with the Buckeyes and the Longhorns, since that was
pretty boring game.
So the 1-3 matchup, and I only got to watch the first half because then I had to take my son to his football game. But just looking at everything else, I mean, it seemed like a defensive battle.
It's a perfect overreaction game that I will just be like, I think both teams will be way better in 2 months than they were yesterday. And
they were on August 30th.
There's not a ton I'm going to take from it.
Yeah, I mean, their quarterback, I mean, like Julian's saying, threw for like 126 yards. Arch Manning has 170 yards of passing, but going into the fourth quarter, I think he only had like 58 or something.
Yeah, it wasn't
a lot. Like,
game. I mean, Texas got stopped at the 1. Caleb Downs is awesome, which that's not like a secret, but he's pretty sweet. Jeremiah Smith had a couple drops. That was
that was a stat that I saw too, that like last year he had 1 drop on 105 targets, and his first 3 targets this year he dropped 2.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at game on paper for this one, it is literally all purple
for both teams.
Except for the red zone success rate for the Buckeyes is in the 56th percentile, so it gets a slight hue of green. If it's not neutral, it's purple.
Yeah. I will go with the Alabama-Florida State game.
That was
as my kickoff game here, because I thought, like many others, I thought Alabama was like pretty damn good. And I thought Florida State was pretty damn bad still. And it wasn't just that they beat them. Like, they physically beat the crap out of them. And that would be concerning to me. That would be the most concerning part to me if I'm an Alabama fan. Not that we lost. Like, shit happens. You lose. I would be concerned that we got just, like, out-physicaled.
Yeah, no, but you also have to remember, like, and I know you know all this, but they're only 1 year removed from being, a team that was 13-1, and then they sucked last year, and
well, they sucked for them.
No, I mean Florida State. I'm talking Florida State.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were talking about Alabama.
No.
Alabama
for them sucked last
Florida
year.
State was terrible. They went 2-10.
Florida State sucked for everybody last year. So, but like the way that like NIL and the portal and all this, like, just like rehash and fix things. Like, you go out and you plug holes and you get guys. Now, obviously, I'm not like a huge Florida State fan or anything, but I would assume that that's probably what they did, and changed some things up. And they looked every bit of it. And that's why also like who knows? Like, is Alabama really a top 10 team in the country? Like, maybe, probably ends up being that way. But like, with so much movement going on, these early season games like this are more of a, kind of a yardstick that you can measure by, like, to see where teams are at and starting. Like, maybe it's something that gets talked about to moving, any kind of ranking, but there's always going to be these preseason rankings, because then they got to use them to hype up early season games. That's a completely different topic. But
complains about preseason rankings, but then still clicks on the preseason rankings to see.
Oh, absolutely! Like, so we beat a top 10 team, and then it's a team that ends up
rid of them because we, the collective, pay attention to them,
right?
And click on them, and they see that. So, like, here's your stat though. This just popped up on my Twitter feed. Alabama's 87 rushing yards were the fewest in a season opener since 1975.
Well, that's not good. You don't want to do that.
The game I was most looking forward to watching was Clemson LSU. LSU had gone, not all Brian Kelly related, but 5 straight opening losses. So there was always obviously a lot of pressure in that regard. I personally had thought Clemson was going into the year. I thought they were the best team. I really liked their defensive line. Cade Klubnik, a receiver, got hurt yesterday, which obviously played a big part in things. But if LSU, and Josh kind of mentions this here about their D-line, like, their defense was very good all game. If that defense plays like that all year, we already know they've got a really good quarterback. They're replacing a lot of their offensive line. I thought their offensive line did fairly well in that environment against that defensive line as well. So, that's a great sign for them moving forward. But that was easily the best win of the day.
Another game in my opinion, all purple.
Yeah, and another game where, like, to me it says nothing about Clemson that they lost. Like, I would still not be shocked one bit if they were, like, in the Final Four.
But that's
part of it is probably because the ACC I don't think is very good, and they should beat the crap out of everybody. But maybe not. We'll see. But both of those teams seem like pretty high level teams. So that was a good game. You got any others that were? I did see Tulsa's punter. I don't know if you saw this. He kicked the ball from his own 1 yard line. It landed at the opposite 34. So you got 60 yards in the air, and then rolled to the 10.
Well, that's a way to. Does he also come from Pro Kick
Australia.
Australia.
I don't know what
Like every other punter in
his
the
nation. I don't know his nation of origin, but that one was an individual effort that probably not many people saw. That was pretty ridiculous.
and then you had a Thursday night. You had South Florida taking down Boise State. Uh,
Yeah, they kicked the
pretty
crap out of
handily.
it. Yeah, I mean I was interested to watch that game. I have a rooting interest in a participant in that game for
And then
for various reasons.
and then Kansas State almost became the first team that we've covered here to lose twice in the week one set of games here, because they've got their game against Iowa State from last week in week one, and then the game yesterday against North Dakota.
Yeah, I actually turned that on my phone because I was like, oh my god, they might lose. And then as soon as I turned it on, it was just a clinic of Avery Johnson just running down the field with no one being able to touch him, and they easily scored a touchdown to end up winning. But it was certainly a hairy situation there. I sent in the group chat. I wonder who his dad was going to beat up after this loss, but we didn't have to find out since they won.
They saved that one, but it's not. I mean, 38-35 against North Dakota. So I don't know that were there any other like.
I'll refrain from any Big 12 stuff because I know Chad and Aaron will hit that.
There were a couple ranked games, but we've covered those.
There wasn't.
Alabama
this was a lot of there's really not much weight to make things worth kind of talking about here.
Florida beat Long Island University.
The Sharks. So
Tennessee won. I'm surprised you didn't bring your Volunteers up.
Hey man, when you got Joey Aguilar at the helm now, I mean they look pretty good. Defense should be good. I'm not sure how good Syracuse is with Steve Angeli compared to Kyle McCord last year. So, but no, I mean, good win. So happy to watch a team that can score more than 30 points with ease.
Yeah, Josh, with the AAC championship could be good. Tulane and USF. Yeah, I get to miss tonight's game, and that sucks.
Yeah, tonight's game, Miami, Notre Dame. Interesting game. Notre Dame's got maybe the best running back in the country, Jeremiah Love, but also playing a quarterback that's never played, CJ Carr. Miami should have a very good offensive line and brought in Carson Beck to replace Cam Ward. I mean, it'll be a fun watch. I don't really know how I would lean in that game.
I'm going with Notre Dame just because I like Marcus Freeman.
Yeah,
we've got more connection there than
for sure.
Elsewhere.
I would want
Marcus Freeman and the Notre Dame to win.
Notre Dame to win. I just don't I don't have like a conviction on who I think will win based on brand new quarterback for one team, transfer quarterback for another. I know Notre Dame had at least one offensive lineman who transferred to Nebraska, coincidentally. Their starting guard, but Notre Dame's got a new defensive coordinator, obviously, with Al Golden at the Bengals. So just a lot of questions for both teams, which is the case. It's the case now. Like you go into these week one games, there's very rarely where any team is like, we kind of know what we're gonna get.
Like we brought everybody back that we need to bring. And then Belichick's debut at the college ranks.
Fascinating.
Tomorrow.
How that goes.
Monday night.
Just fascinating how this all plays out.
Will he have the classic sleeveless hoodie?
I would hope so.
Or I guess really it's like a short sleeve hoodie. It's not really.
Yeah.
Who knows at this point? He's going to come out there in a suit and tie.
That would be fun. He's got like the powder blue suit with the kind of like their logo, the little lines crisscrossing on the tie. That'd be fun. But yeah, Josh Hoover versus Bell. I mean, I think UNC's got 70 something new guys, whether it's transfers or high school players. So, but no,
still not expected to win.
So. Are they not? I don't even know who is favorite.
ESPN said, well, I mean, it's basically a wash. It's like a 3-point spread.
Yeah. So, well, that'll about do it. We will talk a little bit about some Bearcats in the NFL once that gets going. But the majority of the show is a lot of UC talk, then some look around the national scene on what was important, and then we'll usually close things down with some Bearcats in the NFL. But another week 1 in the books from the Cincy Light Studios. Thank you to our great sponsor at Royal Links Golf Tours, and we will see you back here next Sunday morning, and we wish all the Bearcat fans a wonderful day.